it's more like what people on the street tell me about Bitcoin, which is that
you need to learn.
They definitely like it. There is obviously a lot of attention on it in the U.S. What's interesting is when you look at Google searches, it's not even in the top, the U.S. isn't even in the top 10 for countries searching for Bitcoin. So it's really a global phenomenon, not just a U.S. phenomenon. So as much as we've heard about it here, there's still plenty of attention elsewhere, which probably pulls the stock price even higher over time.
Any idea what is in the top 10? What in terms of countries?
South Africa is almost #1 most of the time. The Netherlands, Austria, Switzerland. So it's a bunch of smaller developed markets. The U.S. is currently 11, 12.
Signs of blow-off tops or not? I mean, how do you characterize Bitcoin in the larger scheme of asset price?
Well, I mean, if you look at it from a price move compared to other so-called asset bubbles in the past, it's been a pretty significant move, right? The NASDAQ rally in the late 90s pales in comparison to what you've seen from Bitcoin. But, you know, I've been telling my friends wrong information on Bitcoin each thousands of dollars further up. To me, it seemed like investors early on perhaps were looking for an alternative currency to the dollar, fear that we were debasing, running big deficits. In fact, the dollar's been strong. So, you know, now the shift seems to be more about the blockchain and the technology and the ledger, but we still don't necessarily know what digital currency we'll need in order for the blockchain to work. So I have some caution on it. To me, it seems more like speculation than a credible investment right now.
Is there any competition for dollars between the U.S. stock market and Bitcoin, though? I mean, if we're in an environment where there are more Coinbase accounts today than there are Charles Schwab accounts, I mean, don't you think that perhaps, you know, that incremental dollar may not necessarily be going to stocks, or that cash, if you believe that there is cash on the sidelines, that cash on the sidelines may not at this point with stocks at record highs, not that Bitcoin's not at record highs,
right.
but may not be going into stocks?
Well, I think what you'll find over time is that investors are going to want something that they can quantify, which is earnings, which is dividends, which is cash flow. Very difficult to do with Bitcoin, very difficult to value. So it's not to say that there's not money on the sideline that couldn't continue to find its way into Bitcoin. Right? Markets can remain, you know, irrational for a long time, in my opinion, but I think investors are going to come back to the true fundamentals, and corporate earnings continue to look quite good.